What's up, everybody? It is Sanchez 405. Welcome back to On the Warpath. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitter, or whether you're listening to this after the fact on Anchor via the podcast, it's On the Warpath. Happy to be here with y'all. You may have noticed there's some difference with the intro. There's a little bit of gold there. We like gold here, like Austin Powers and Goldmember. But no, it's for a serious cause here, and we are with our friends, the hog farmers. And we are bringing awareness to Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month here in September. And you're going to see the gold logo on the streams all the time here. And we will talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we got special guests here. Who needs Marlon Brando? When you can get your own Godfather, you can get the podcaster, Podfather up in here. And that is Mr. Kyle. We're going to bring him on from the Burgundy Zone. My man, Kyle, introduce him. What's up, Kyle? How you doing,
everybody?
Brother?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on, Corey. It's been a minute, but the last time I was on with you, we were with Rio, right? And
yeah,
that was a riot.
Yeah, we'll have one half that energy today. But the man, I already told Rio today, he's the man who got Jimmy Moreland. I seriously think he called some. I think Rio got that phone. He's got that black phone. It's just like, hey, yo, cut him. He hadn't been on the pod. He's been dodging 5 times. So,
hey, he's got the red phone.
He said, Jason, give that phone over to Ron real quick. So, but brother, it's a pleasure to have you, the host, one of the hosts of the award-winning Burgundy Zone podcast, and you all have got some great news as well. I saw on Twitter here. Just tell the folks about what you all are doing over there and the big news.
We partnered up with Listen Frederick and Listen Hagerstown, which is farther north, and Washington fans know right about now it's dominated by the Baltimore and Pennsylvania type of teams.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially those fans have been left out to dry. And what this is a way to try to partner with Listen Frederick and Listen Hagerstown in order to reach those fans, because they do have a radio station on top of a podcast network that we're joining. And my thought process here is, we generally, Corey, we have a general young demographic, do we not?
Yes.
The older demographic typically does not listen to podcasts, does not have apps on their phone or go to that sort of length to listen to their entertainment. They're just popping on the radio to listen to it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just simply trying to expand our horizons and trying to bring some fanship back to the northern part of Maryland here, because there's a lot of people out there and they're kind of in no man's land. And I would like to be able to give those fans a little bit of support as Washington fans.
And that's awesome. You guys do it. You guys are the gold standard. I remember watching you all last year. And it kind of I said, I want to be like these guys. I really do, like and I say that to you, but I mean that in all reverence and respect, because yeah, you can sit on here and ramble, but it takes a good person, a good quality, a group of people that can actually have a conversation with folks. And you and Hall and Reed do a great job of that each and every time you guys do it. So it's a pleasure to have you on here, and congratulations with Listen Frederick, Listen Hagerstown. Y'all better listen and download and listen to it wherever you listen to it, the Burgundy Zone. And we all have a fellow good friend, two-time visitor, a bald guy, follically challenged, as he likes to call himself, Travis Thomas. That's a two-time guest there. So it's a race to 3 for the two of us to have him on here.
Exactly.
But we'll dive into it. Right before we dive into it, let's give a shout out to a couple of people. Washington diehard fan. What's up, my brother?
What's up, bro?
Wes. What's up?
What's up, Pat?
He's loyal. Pat is a loyal guy here. Franklin, what's up? Slap a table. No, we ain't gonna slap Kyle, because Kyle gonna slap me with that big notebook he got at the ball games.
My wife gave me that for my birthday.
Hey, that's a slick. But I said, look at this brother right here. He just looking at Coach Kyle up in there, Scout Kyle. What's up, William? Abel. Steve Sims got picked up by Pittsburgh. Ooh. Good for him. I think Strip Club Simba might like him up there. Yeah, and hey, everybody, what's up, Anna? And then tell Kyle FedEx Field is done. Whatever. We need a new stadium. We all know that.
Yeah.
And Casper, tell us something we didn't know there. But
I agree.
That we need a
That's
new
what
stadium.
we're working on. Yeah, that's what we're working on.
That's what they've been saying. We're working on here. So y'all chill, and we'll get here. And
so in other words, Corey, the sky is blue.
Exactly. And the bear craps in the woods as well.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I think you always have a theme on your podcast when you guys do it. The podcast today from Reverend Professor Corey is going to be making the cut. Now we'll turn to your Bibles. First Kyle Chronicles, the first chapter, and we will look at this 53-man roster. What jumped out to you? What was something you're like, hey, this was a pleasant surprise, something that made you go, and then something was just like, that ain't, I'm not about that life.
The pleasant surprise was them retaining 4 tight ends. That was something that I thought that they were going to do, just based on the fact of how many times they like to do heavy sets and go into jumbo packages with those tight ends. Because if you're talking about Samus Reyes being that 3rd tight end, he does have a lack of experience. He did do really, really well, but putting him in game situations with the first team starters is much different than preseason action. And so that's where I was kind of skeptical with it, because I was like, I'm not sure if they could bank with just 3. So I was always thinking that they were going to keep Ricky Stills-Jones. So that was good to hear, because we need that depth with tight end, especially with being able to run the ball this season, Corey. Because if Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be able to do what he does best without turning over the football, he's going to need to be able to utilize the play action. So the running game is going to have to be stifling. It's going to be half smash mouth, punching you in the face. And guys like John Bates, Samus Reyes, who Ron Rivera talked about being the best run blocking tight end they have on the team, that's going to really help your team. So Ricky Seals-Jones being there at number 4, I thought was a pleasant surprise. I really like that. The other, obviously, is Jimmy Moreland.
Yeah.
We should have seen the writing on the wall when he was playing in that last preseason game against the Ravens, because we all kind of could see what that meant. Essentially, was that they were giving him an ability to put film out there for people to see him, to gauge his film and say, yeah, we want to bring him on. The most surprising part was that he wasn't picked up for the practice squad. And that makes me think that because now essentially he's a free agent, there's like a bargaining system going on now for Jimmy Moreland and the services of him. Because I'll tell you what, Corey, I will be so blown if he goes to Dallas, because he's going to start. And that guarantees that he's going to have at least 1 or 2 plays against us,
Yeah, I with the Jimmy Moreland thing, and I kind of broke it down in my video. I thought you look at him and Torrey McTyer, right?
Yep.
Guys of similar age. McTyer has more experience in that respect because he's been in the league since 2017. And then you look at Kendall Fuller, which I think this was a guarantee that St. Juice is going to start on the outside. That was 110% there.
Remember, I said that at Friday Night Football. We were sitting there, and I was like, "That we're looking at the first team defense right now. The only thing missing is William Jackson III. Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing that was missing."
You did. I remember you saying that. We probably got that on the camera too. So we'll have to replay that once we get a little bit more advanced up here. But I
will say that the Troy Apke thing was big, and I know everyone flipped out last season, right, Corey, when AP got released. When AP was cut, everyone was like, how do you disrespect the Hall of Fame running back? This is ridiculous. We don't have any running backs here. We can't trust Antonio Gibson. Well, what ended up happening? Antonio Gibson's now a 2nd-round pick in fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, let's trust them just a little bit. Give them that benefit of the doubt to say, maybe they do know what they're talking about with this Troy Apke thing. I know everyone is going after Troy. We've made jokes about him being the only white corner in the league. It's funny. Jason Sehorn 2.0. I get it. It's hilarious. As a white guy myself, it's funny. But at the same time, like, I understand why fans go after him, because he hasn't shown all that much. And he seems like the punching bag of the fan base. There's always one guy that's like the punching bag of the fan base. And that seems to be Troy. But look, I was impressed with him, man. He played Auden Tate really well against that Cincinnati Bengals game. I know he got the penalty on him, but I liked his chippiness. He was playing the position like he was supposed to. Look, maybe they found a gem here with Troy Apke playing at outside corner. And obviously the biggest part about it is his special teams ability. Ron Rivera put out today, he said it was 5th in rating for special teams gunner last season. And we saw in the preseason game against the Ravens and Bengals that he was the first up the field tackling that punt returner. So teams have the game plan for him, and he has value. It sucks that Jimmy got axed. Dude, I wonder, Corey, is there something there? Is there something more there?
I think it's something more there. I don't know if you kind of talk about like something being there. Keith Ishmael, there were some rumors about him that we saw on Twitters as well, and that's why he was cut. But yeah,
he got brought back onto the practice squad as well.
Did. Yeah, so you've got him position flex, right? And I don't know what it is about Jimmy. I think he had some problems at JMU. I may be making it up in my head, but I felt like I heard that there may have been a situation there with him. I understand it. I can understand the rationale when you really sit back and look at it. I think you can understand the rationale here. And I'll even preface this: we say we trust Ron and we trust in the process, right? This is the ultimate test of that trust.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, we got to sit here and be like, hey, the sky's not falling down. I wanted Peyton Barber on the roster. He got cut. I'm not sitting here booing and crying. William Bradley, the King, he got cut. It wasn't a chance that those guys weren't going to be back on this roster, either on the practice squad or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm saying I'm selling all my chips. It's why I got rid of my hate for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'm just going to sit here and have a Coke and smile and be like, okay, but I do reserve the right to say, when he throws that pick and every one of these Bamas who was on it and they say, oh, why would he do that? I'm going to say, shut up, sit down, because you knew this was going to happen. I told you this back in February, but
look, you're right, because you have to, I understand what you're doing and you're 100% right, because everyone is kind of elevating Ryan to a point, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that, Corey. But look, it's almost like limiting Ryan Fitzpatrick without taking away what he does best.
Exactly.
Is the best way to put it. And I think we do have to trust Ron with Scott Turner. And I think that Scott Turner does have to be given the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the guy played 4 different quarterbacks last season, and as putrid as that was, they were still able to score points in games and do well. So I don't want to hate Scott on too much. You know what I'm saying? But look, I was surprised by Peyton Barber. I'm glad that they retained him, but I'm not convinced with the short yardage. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's even a back issue. Like, I don't think a one back is typically better than another in that area. I think it's the push of the offensive line. And they've been kind of lacking that. I saw Eric Flowers on that 4th and 1. He kind of missed his block and stumbled, which allowed the linebacker to come in and take care of Antonio Gibson short of the line. So I'm going to need to see that ferociousness. That's where the big issue for me is. But I'm glad they were able to retain Preston Barber, because just in case, if you need him to bring him up, he's there for you.
Yeah. And that's what I think that was my biggest thing, was especially seeing against Cincinnati. And it was just like, you didn't have that push. But even last year, we didn't see some pushes, and Barber pushed through. He was about a bet right there on point blank. I call it point blank range there. But so, hey, it is what it is. But like I said, going back to trust in Ron, and also on this offensive side of the ball, I thought that they carry 7 wide receivers. Dax Milne and DeAndre Carter make the 53-man roster. Honestly, and I'll be upfront with you, Dax Milne didn't surprise me. DeAndre Carter making the roster surprised me, and the fact that AGG did not make the roster, not because I wanted him, because you saw me at Friday Night Football. I said, that guy looks like he's going to be walking there, because he was sitting down there with Ryan Vermillion. I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work out. And he comes back now on the practice squad. I don't know, just take me through what you thought about that wide receiver makeup, keeping 7.
Well, first I'll start with AGG. I think this is the best case scenario for AGG, because he did show progress. He did show, because the one thing I needed to see from him after that first preseason game was fight. Making sure that he was going to, because he's fighting for his job, literally. Right. I need to see at least some aggression out of you, AGG. Take it out from the Rubik's Cube and put it onto the football field. You know what I'm saying? And he started to do that, and I was very impressed, but he wasn't showing dominance to the point where you would say he warrants the 53-man roster position there. Where Dax Milne comes in, he kind of has that experience playing from BYU, having that professional type of system. I've said this ever since I watched him pre-draft. He reminds me of Adam Thielen, and I don't mean that he's going to be Adam Thielen. What I mean is like how he's very soft in his routes and his cuts and the very soft hands and catches everything, seems to be in the right place. And he's just one of those guys that just always catches the ball and is in the right place at the right time. And that's how I felt about Dax Milne. And I was very worried that the Jets were going to pick him up as soon as he became available. Zach Wilson, obviously has a lot of power in that building. He was able to sit out a couple practices until he got his contract that he wanted. So I thought that he was going to go. So bringing him back was very, very smart. And for AGG, this gives him the ability to stay with this coaching staff, continue to be with his teammates, and continue to progress. The worst thing for him possible right now was if he got claimed by somebody else. It would really derail his progression.
Yeah, I thought that from the jump, and going back and looking at his highlights after they drafted him, I was like, this guy is crisp, like at an NFL type level. Now, is he physical? No, but he can work that in. Like you said, Thielen, low. He was a low round pick, I believe. I think he was a 7th round pick, or was he undrafted?
He was undrafted, I'm pretty sure.
So you got these guys right here, and some people threw up the Trey Quinn comparison, right?
Yeah.
I don't see Trey Quinn in this guy. I see it's something else about him. I feel like he adds to the flex. I think he can return punts. He's shiftier.
He's Mormon.
Yeah, there you go. So you don't have to worry about him going out drinking either. So that's one thing. No DUIs for Dax Milne. Dax the Destroyer.
But the one DeAndre Carter, I would say, the one thing that got him to make this roster was how impressive he was a wide receiver. Were you able to go to? I think you were able to go to training camp, right?
He caught everything around him. I will say this, and I knew that Steve Sims was in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was uncertain about Dax Milne because Dax was struggling retreating punts off the gun. DeAndre Carter, boom, 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 boom. No hesitation, no worry. He just was like, boom, and go upfield with that. So I think Nate Katzer, give credit to Nate Katzer for getting him to that spot and even getting Dax Milne to that spot as well, too. But yeah, DeAndre Carter looked good as a wide receiver as well.
Yeah, and even Ron Rivera talked about how in his presser yesterday with Martin Mayhew with the press, he said specifically that they have like the dangerous returner in DeAndre Carter. They have the kind of quick, savvy guy in Dax Milne, but they have the safe guy that could catch everything in Adam Humphries. So they said that's an ace that they can always have in their back pocket. So I was surprised that they kept everyone that they did.
Yeah, I thought that was wild, and
Cam Sims changed his number to 11. Did you see that?
That is that boy. I said, Lord, that's adding salt to the wound right there. On AGT lost his number, and Cam Sims getting rid of that. And I mean, you got to look at this guy, Cam Sims. Last thing on the wide receivers, what this cat has done. He went from getting cut multiple times to being on the practice squad to making this roster and making the most out of his opportunity like he did last year. I mean, this guy is the embodiment of a grinder and a blue collar.
And not even that. He had the play of the year last year. I have said if there was one play that you can say that kind of like just epitomizes what last year was, it was that Cam Sims one-handed catch against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Because you have to look at this team. They came in, the name change happened, the sexual assault allegations happened, COVID is going down, coach gets cancer. It almost seemed like there was everything possible trying to bring this team down to say you shouldn't be winning football games, you shouldn't be making the playoffs. And when Cam Sims went to go catch that ball, the DB's holding his left hand, catches it with his right hand like it's no problem. And that's kind of how the Washington football team was last season. I loved Cam Sims, and obviously he solidified that with his play last year.
Yeah, right. And we knew four were gonna make it. He was part of that group.
Yeah.
A shout out to Hawk. What's up, brother? Sanchez, y'all getting the pack ready, hyped for the future of the Red Wolves fan base. Commanders. We got the Commanders up here. What's up? No Fake Boy Joe. What's up? Speed is nothing without skill. I say that all the time. It's nothing but drugs. What's up, Joe Sanders? And then JK. And he hates the Baltimore Ravens. I think we all do, but
I don't hate him, but I respect him. I respect them because I wasn't the one that drew the line in the stand between Washington and Baltimore. That wasn't me. It was them. All those years that we were bad, and they wanted to talk all that crap and talk about how big and bad they were. Well, the friendship's gone, my friend. Not my fault.
There you go. There's my friendship with the Baltimore Ravens clan, and we'll kill it. We'll pull a Ray Lewis and do it. Anyway, never mind. That's a different story for a different day. But on this offensive line, they got a backup center, Tyler Larson, which I thought was interesting. Tyler Larson is 30 years old, and he made it off the youngins. Finally, have a backup center and an insurance plan because I don't think that's something we had last year was a backup center.
No, we didn't. And it's something that I had noted because we had done the projecting the 53 for the Ref the District podcast. And we were given the offensive line. Me and Hall, we projected 9 offensive linemen, and the 9th offensive lineman would be Tyler Larson, back up at that center. So we got the nail right on the head. We dipped at the butt, but I like it because watching that Cincinnati game, I was realizing that they were testing the first and the second team. And I kind of knew what Rivera was doing with like front loading all the play of the starters in the first 2 games and then benching everyone and letting the guys who were about to get cut get all the work in the last game. Not the whole NFL did that, by the way, and it proved to be Ron Rivera correct, to be perfectly honest with you. But Tyler Larson looked great against that Bengals game. I thought he was doing a very good job in run blocking. It proved to be a good call on their part. Obviously, they don't have much confidence in Keith Ishmael, which sucks. I think it was a 5th or 6th round pick last year. You would hope that he would have progressed enough to be able to be the backup, dude, but that's alarming.
Franklin says, Warpath to Kyle, I can see after you putting on 10 pounds and playing some linebacker.
Yeah.
Like Ron said, position. I ain't messing with Franklin's wild, man.
Can he kick field goals?
Oh, okay. You want to talk about field goals here. Dadgunnit, you messed it up already.
I should have known that was a trigger word.
You know, look, it's a trigger word. I thought in trusting. Anyway, trigger warnings with Mike. Okay, there we go. We're breaking the Podfather here.
Oh my God!
I thought the most egregious thing that's getting clipped and put on Instagram, by the way. The most egregious thing I think Ron and company did this year, not the fact that they kept Rusty Dusty, it is the fact that they did not bring competition in, because Ron said from day one, it's all about competition. I mean, yeah, you and I, we have competition every day with the man that we see in the mirror in the bathroom every day, but I thought it was literally going to be a competition. And I noticed a couple of times, it looks like there was an issue with the snap to hold on 2 of those kicks. The one he missed, the second kick he missed in New England, and I think it was one against Pittsburgh, not Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I keep on saying Pittsburgh. But what were your thoughts about them not even bringing in competition? We didn't even bring in competition with Justin.
Dude, I brought up this hypothetical, and look, it's a conspiracy theory, but
he knows where the bodies are.
I had a feeling that maybe Tress does have a little sway, and he having Nick Sundberg leave in the offseason was kind of like a big thing for the fan base, and maybe it was for Tress Way as well. So maybe they were trying not to make everyone pissed by taking away his 2 buddies who he's closest with, he spends the most time with. But that's putting a lot of stock into Tress Way being able to depict who's going to be playing and kicking field goals. But that being said, I understood what Ron was saying. And against Cincinnati, he didn't want to beat up on Dustin Hopkins. He messed up. He screwed up. Was the timing messed up? Of course. But guess what? The snap was down. Just kick the damn field goal, dude. And I'm sure that's what Ron Rivera is telling him. But to us, he's saying, look, guys, everything is fine. Not worried about competition. But to him, he's saying, look, dude, I'm trying to help you out here. But you got to do something for me. And that's one of the reasons why Ron Rivera is so beloved. Because he's loyal to his players. He's not going to say something to the press that he has not said to you. And that's a great thing to have as a coach, because when those times are coming down to it, like when you have cancer and stuff, that's the kind of loyalty where players will be like, dude, I'm going all out for you. And that's the kind of stuff that brings. And so hopefully it resonates with Dustin Hopkins and he has a great career year, because loyalty can do that to a guy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this, people forget that they're human beings as well. Kickers are people too, no pun intended. But I say this, like, I thought about that conspiracy theory with Tress. Is there something else going on? Like that, and that's my big thing. Is there something else going on with 3?
I've heard that his brother-in-law has COVID and is on a ventilator and stuff like that. He might be going through a rough patch. Yeah. You never know how that really affects people. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, he's like beat up and doesn't know what to do with what's going on, but you never know. You never know what somebody's going on with. And you're right, dude. Just make the kicks, bro.
Yeah.
Just he's capable. He's one of the best kicking kickers to start games or whatever. He kicks at touchbacks all the time. You have the leg, just make it a little bit accurate. I don't know, man.
It's going to be weird because the last 3 kicker changes have been so weird for Washington. You think about how Hopkins came in and replaced Forbath, who wasn't too bad, and then you look at
Kai ended up. Yeah, they all went and actually had really good careers after a year.
Graham
It happens all the time.
Graham Gano went to Carolina, had a good career. And then you look at, what was it? Billy Cundiff came in here because they cut Graham like weirdly, because I think it was, Neil Rackers or somebody came in for a little bit, and then they moved on from there.
David Akers was here at one point too.
Yeah, he was back in the early 90s. He was. So it's just been weird with kickers, man. We can't get it situated out. And
I have heard that turf at FedEx Field is one of the worst for kickers, is what I have heard people say before. And look, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for the guy. Okay. He ruined the game in England. I remember it, but we also have to blame Matt Jones for fumbling the ball on the 3-yard line, which was ridiculous. Matt Jones deserves as much criticism for that game as Dustin Hopkins does. But yes, man, he's just got to get it corrected, dude. And it just sucks that this is the situation that we're in, because we saw last year how pivotal those points are, especially against the Giants, which were close games, and we lost both. And guess what? We got swept. We looked terrible. But look, if you make those field goals, you're going to win some football games, man.
And Condoleezza Prayer brings up a good point. Sean Sweezum as well. Missed those point-blank kicks against the Saints in a game that really we should have won, though. Kickers have been wild for the last few years. That's right. Don't want a damn loyal coach. I want an aggressive, disciplined coach. You can have both of those. Let's see. Rivera said Hopkins was very good in the first half of the year, like top 8 of kickers, which is true. That was down the stretch. He only missed 1, I believe. Shout out to Steve Money for that one. My boy Micro Mike, Detroit Lions, they get the future MVP of the league, Hall of Famer Steven Montez over there. So Montez magic there.
And I will say this, Ron Rivera is aggressive. We saw what he did with Adrian Peterson. We saw what he did with Dwayne Haskins. He does not mind being aggressive. It just he picks and chooses when it's correct and when it's not. And that's all I'll say. Maybe Dustin Hopkins is the best teammate in the world. They all love him. He's just going through a rough time. I don't know.
I mean, he always seems like he's a great guy, but we
he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
He's I thought about this. There are only 3 picks left from the 2019 draft. And I thought that Ron and company, either that draft was horrible, which it was. They made an indictment on that draft class over the last 2 years. You get rid of Martin, who I think Martin's back on the practice squad.
Wes Martin is, yes.
Yeah, Jimmy Moreland's gone. We know Strip Club Simba's gone as well. And Kelvin Harmon, Bryce Love, all these guys have been gone. Really without a shot and a cold chance in hell of getting there, because you have 3 guys that are starters, quality starters on there. But I just thought I don't know what you thought about that in that 2019 draft, and Ron just clearing house with it after 2 years.
This is what you do, essentially. I remember there was not an interview, but there was a speech that Ron Rivera or somebody was giving in regards to taking over a cultural change. And he was looking at him and basically saying, most of you will not be here when we get to that point to where we're fighting in games and winning championships. That's the reality of the situation. And I'll never forget. Who was it? Was it Buck up in Baltimore? But basically he said, like, when you're going into a new team that has been used to losing, what you have to do is you have to get out all of those people that are used to losing. Unless they show the right mindset of wanting to start to win, they start putting in the work. And that's what Ron Rivera has kind of showed us with the Logan Thomas extension, Jonathan Allen, Chase Royer extension as well. He's showing that to you. And there's guys that he's letting go as well. Morgan Moses was one. So look, man, I love that he's doing it, but they're doing it in a smart way because this roster is top heavy, but it's also top heavy because they're giving a lot of respect and responsibility to the younger guys, which is what a lot of teams in this league do. And there's why guys like Devontae Adams, who nobody really had an idea about, come to be number 1 wide receivers in the NFL. When you progress these guys and build them up, this is what happens. Just trust the process. Just like the name change. Just trust the process, guys.
Trust it. Looks like Vanilla Ice.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What? Oh my goodness! I wish you were. You should have followed me on Twitter, dude. That was a whole spiel for a day.
Oh man,
it was when Tony, because I shaved my mustache, and they said they put up the picture of Vanilla Ice next to me, dude.
Montez must be ready to bite kneecaps.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my goodness! Excited for our practice squad quarterback. Hopefully you don't start him because he might need Lamar Miller. How y'all feel about Cam coming in? Okay, look. Just
Do
stop
it, Corey.
Just stop. Let's just stop it. Stop it now. Ron said he's comfortable with the 3 quarterbacks. Let's just roll with the 3 quarterbacks. If you want him to come in here as a running back, that's fine. He had almost 600 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. I will do that. I don't want Medea here. That's just what it is.
You called him Medea?
Yeah. How you doing? He dresses like some old lady like the old black ladies at the church. I've broke Kyle.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. No. I've called him Medea a lot of times.
Call the Popo,
Yeah. Call the Popo Bill Ho. That's what he said on there. Mac Jones, I don't. Oh God. Cam, I love Cam. I've been a big fan of Cam. But injuries, we can say Bill Belichick always does something shady to get rid of somebody he doesn't really want. I will credit it up to that. But
I will say in Bill's defense, I'm sorry to cut off your rant. I will say the whole spiel was that Cam was going to demand a release or a trade if they made Mac Jones the starter. And so they were kind of saving Cam the embarrassment of being released is what they were saying. That they were demanding him being released instead of him staying there and then Mac taking the job from him and that being embarrassment to Cam being the backup. So they said, look, we'll just release you now before we announce it.
See,
I think it was a good thing by Bill to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you could have released him a day ahead of time, kind of like what Washington did with Adrian Peterson last year. But
exactly.
It's Bill. I mean, Bill Belichick's probably was recording stuff, so we don't know. Hey, Linda, how are you? If the guys get cut, are good, they'd be on other teams now. That's a good point. That is 100%. Because I think a lot of them are joining the military. I think they said the JAG unit, but
no, the fact is the guys, Ron Rivera did say that the guys going on the practice squad are going to be capable to come up at any point in time if need be and play as a backup role. And when you're looking at this, that's exactly what's here. If you have an injury to Cam Sims, you pull up AGG, no issues. You have an issue with Jarrett Patterson, you call up Peyton Barber. You have an issue with maybe Matt Ioannidis or Tim Settle, you can call up Gabe Wright or Daniel Wise. Yes. Are they barn burners? No. Nobody on the practice squad is right now considered a barn burner. But progress happens over time, guys. Yep. Progress. And I will say this. I loved Cam. I wanted Cam in the offseason, but now is not the time because what you're going to be bringing in with Cam is a grenade into the situation, into the room. Ryan Fitzpatrick has taken control over this locker room. It's his team. You don't want to bring in another alpha male into the equation to kind of screw with the gelling of things. Allow them to go where they are. I was pissed that Dallas picked up Will Grier because I wanted us to cut Kyle Allen and to pick up Will Grier to be our 3rd quarterback on the roster. I was really impressed with what he did with Carolina in the preseason, but unfortunately Dallas got him.
Yeah, well, he'll be their new DiNucci, hopefully, and that'll be lead him on. But you talk about that, and I think it's really, I think it's just interesting how we looked at this with Cam and people wanting Cam, and Ron has never really made any stretches for him. I know we had Haskins there, but if Ron was convinced that he was the guy, he would have pulled out any stops. He would have traded for Cam. He did not trade for Cam. He traded for Kyle Allen. And I think that's missed on people a lot of times. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll never come to agreement on that argument with some folks.
That is a very weird situation, right? Because they did go far together. He was available. We were missing out on the quarterback position kind of, but I can understand where Ron wanted to give Dwayne Haskins every chance and ability to be the number 1 quarterback, just like Ryan Fitzpatrick right now. And unfortunately for Cam, it just didn't work out. And look, I think Cam is a very good quarterback. I think Cam could be top tier. But I think, I don't want to say this, but he should go to Dallas and be the backup there. And that would be the best fit for him, because let's say Dak's injuries lingers, or it halfway through the season gets injured. What's the best thing for Cam Newton to get a new big contract? Ball out on the national stage. All the networks love, the corporate media loves the Dallas Cowboys. He'll get all the airtime in the world, and he'd probably look pretty good doing it with all those wide receivers. Probably the best wide receiver Corey's ever had. So he would do well there, unfortunately.
Hello, how you doing, Dallas, with Cam Newton? So we move over to the defensive side of the ball here, and I thought this is interesting, and Freddie kind of checked me on this yesterday about them keeping 4 linebackers, although Derek Forrest has been converted to IR, and now David Mayo comes back, so I was 5 of 6 on my linebacker pick, so good there, and I thought that the fact that Tony made the roster, because they said you can stand him up, and then maybe you'll see a little bit more big nickel from Landon Collins, because we even seen in training camp and in practice that 3, McCain, Curl, and Collins were out there at the same time. Were you a little concerned about the 4 linebackers, though, especially with one of them being I like him. I'm not a big supporter of him, but I like him. I like John Bostic just because of the veteran prowess, but I will admit that he will run away from coverage like I run away from a diet. So either way, what do you think there?
I was not surprised at all. I had them picking 4 linebackers to make the 53 before the David Mayo news. I wasn't surprised by it, just because of who they had behind there. Just because you got guys there and you feel like they should be there doesn't mean you should cut other guys because of it. So I projected that they'd keep 4 and that they would now practice squad Jared Norris and Kunajek, and which is they did, and then they re-signed David Mayo today, which is the smartest thing for them, because in my opinion, what was the one issue that they had against Tampa Bay, Corey? They couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, couldn't stop the run.
They couldn't stop the run. So what teams are going to do with this defensive line, with Montez Sweat and Chase Young, teams are going to try to thin us out, go very empty wide, 3 wide receivers, split out tight end, and then run the ball up the middle and tell our linebackers in that space to be able to go up and make the tackle. And that's why I felt like 4 linebackers was going to be the case, because I feel like a lot more of 4-2 and maybe like a 4-1-6, something like that is what they're going to be doing, in my personal opinion. So I wasn't surprised by the linebackers. I was just surprised by that Khaleke Hudson didn't make a bigger leap. I was expecting him to overtake, but John Bostic does deserve flowers. He's a little bit better against the run than Jamin Davis right now. Jamin is still a little bit hesitant in his angles. Cole Holcomb, from what I saw in the Bengals game, dude, his angle taking, I think he's going to have over 100 tackles this season. I think that he is going to really have a big year and make a big jump. And Jamin Davis is going to benefit from that. He can really learn from it, but he's still got a little bit of ways to go. But Bostic always knows where to go. He does play the run very, very well. But like you said, Corey, so well, he's terrible against the pass.
Yeah, I mean, Cooley made a point of that on Kevin Sheehan's podcast. He's like, he literally moved over. And I started watching. I was like, oh my God, he does that. But the weirdest thing about John Bostic is some of the biggest moments last year, he was at the end of it. Like you think about the Pittsburgh game. He was on that 4th down stop.
Yep.
He had the interception.
Yep.
What else was it? That blitz that he had up the A gap against Philadelphia, right? Those things, it's John Bostic all over, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how that is, Kyle. But my God,
he's one of those guys, and I want to say this very, very delicately. He's one of those guys that if he's a starter, you're worried. But if he's your immediate backup, you are very happy because you know that he can come in relief and he's going to have his mind about him. He's going to have the capability of making plays. Exactly. But when he's starting, you're not kind of worried about those plays being made all the time. But John Bostic as the backup kind of mentor, you absolutely love him in that role. It's perfect for him. Like you said, dude, he balled out last season.
Yeah, and he's giving them financial advice too to some of these rookies. So go ahead, there you go. You've got Uncle John Bostic on there and hanging out there. And also, I forgot about this. Everybody's favorite moment from John Bostic, and I thought about this when I saw Zeke. He did make Andy Dalton, crap himself. So that any Cowboys quarterback that does that on Washington soil is that that makes you a Hall of Famer in my eyes. But and you look at this defensive line, there were like insane rumors, and they were not verified. It's just people throwing stuff out there that Tim Settle was going to be. I said, are y'all like, people were like throwing that out there. I saw that maybe once or twice. The interior line, you ain't going to mess with it. You're going to run that train as far as you can without, if you got a guy who could start on another team at that price, why in the world? If they're not going to give you the world, why would you trade him away?
Right. And like, I've tried to tell people this, even going back to the offseason, because they were telling us we needed to trade up for a quarterback or for Watson, and people kept throwing like Matt Ioannidis in there and Tim Settle. And I was like, look, I know that you guys, like, that's smart for us as Washington to get the fourth guy down and ship him out for really good production back. But the fact is, other teams aren't as excited about Tim Settle as we are, because he doesn't have that many reps. He has not really proven himself to be that level, but a guy like Daron Payne would elevate that team. That would move the needle for them. So Tim Settle is the cheap option for us. For if we're going to let one of these guys go, he's the cheap option that we could plug in right away and is going to do well. So no, he's not going to be if anyone is going to get traded on the D-line, it's Daron Payne or Matt Ioannidis, but I don't even see that happening, Corey. No. Like you said, we have to continue it, and everyone has to at least take a little bit of cash off so everyone else can get their money too, because keeping the gang together is the biggest hurdle right now.
And my big thing is the folks that say, well, we'll be able to keep them when the salary cap goes up. I said, you have no understanding of economics, because once the cap expands, that price for that player is going to go up. Like that's economics 101, y'all. And you look at the other side of the defensive line with the defensive ends. Casey Toohill made it. Shaka Toney, like I said, William Bradley the King on the practice squad. I liked William Bradley King. He was actually the only person I got right in my my mock draft. I can't believe I pointed that out. In the 7th round, I picked him wrong.
No way.
Yeah, I had him. I think I had him on the pick that we traded to the Dolphins. So I was a few picks late, but
hey, dude, it doesn't matter, Corey.
I'm getting William Bradley King. You can ask Ed Oliver in the crew, because I put it in our chat group, and I might have to get a William Bradley King jersey just for the heck of that, because
you nailed that prediction.
But I saw what he was doing, and we're going to see this from this cat eventually, I hope.
And I was very intrigued by Shaka Toney against the Ravens. He had a lot of really good speed pass rush around the edge. He did show a lot of promise. I'm glad that they brought him back. The one thing that I've heard everyone say about Shaka Toney is his burst off the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
It's very, very fast. It's one of the best in the league, and that's where to keep an eye out for Shaka. And dude, I want to ask you, Corey, you heard Coach Rivera talk about bringing a veteran defensive end.
Yeah.
Why wasn't it Kerrigan? It was dirt cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what, I was sitting there. My cousin texted this to me the other day. Shout out to Dwayne. He was saying, like, I don't understand it. And the only thing I could come up in my head was, they know the price. This was the price. We're not going to budge on it. And it was weird how that whole thing was set up. Hey, see you, Washington. Oh, Philly, what's up, guys? What's up, Crack Liberty Bell? I don't think this was ever about starting for Ryan. I think it was a point of money and respect. That's why he signed with the Eagles. That is exactly why he signed with the Eagles. I think they've still got Brandon Graham up there. Old boy from Tennessee, Barnett's still playing up there, I think.
I think so.
So I'm like, Ryan wasn't going to start there. Come on, man, dude. You're 33. You're not going to be a full-time starter in the NFL with two guys that played in Super Bowl and that were dominant during the Super Bowl season.
But then again, just like I talked about earlier, Rivera being an aggressive coach, kind of moving away from Ryan Kerrigan in that sense. He is aggressive in that sense. And, but look, obviously, I'm not sure who they could bring in. Maybe Vic Beasley, but are you really that confident in Vic Beasley being able to do what Shaka Toney does? And I'm not 100%, but Casey Toohill had shown strides the last season. I know he had a bad play against Tampa in that playoff game, but that was just one play. But they like him, and that's why he's the backup speed rusher. Hopefully, he's not that injured, and that he'll be able to start play week 1 in relief of Montez Sweat and Chase Young, dude, because Rashawn Slater coming up, man.
Yeah, that's going to be something to see. And you mentioned the Chargers, and I thought it was interesting that first year coach, sophomore sensation in Herbert did not play one moment in the preseason. There's no live action, no drive, no anything. We even seen we've seen Mahomes, we've seen Brady. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what they used to tell me. Why do you think that will have an effect on one, how this team plays against the Chargers, and two, do you think that this could be detrimental to, I think, the development of a young quarterback who's in a new system with a second-time offensive coordinator who was basically ran out of town, and Joe Lombardi?
I think that they are pushing off his progression. I will say that by missing the first couple of preseason games, but it's smart because remember with Chip Kelly with the Philadelphia Eagles, when we faced them week one, they didn't show anything either. And when we faced them week one, it was almost like, holy crap, what the heck is all this? And that's, I think, essentially what he's trying to do. He's a rookie head coach, and he doesn't want to show too much of what he's doing. So what he wants to do is he wants to keep that in a box and then unleash it week one. Look, you're going to see week one is going to go a lot like last season's was maybe at the start of the game, we're going to give up maybe some points. We're going to struggle to put some points up, but that second half, we're going to dominate. We're going to make second half adjustments. We're going to see what they want to do and everything. We'll make the adjustments to do that. They proved it time and time again last year.
Yes, sir.
It got to the point where I wasn't even worried when we went down 17-3 or 17-6 at any time. Because I was like, okay, we're going to come back. As long as it's under 20, we're good. As long as it's under 20, we can do that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point there, and to your Chip Kelly point, I think that he was an established head coach already. This is Brandon Staley's first go around, and plus he's a defensive minded coach as well. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not saying that it makes me look at them less as an opponent, because this team rattled off like 7 wins in a row to close out the season, finished 7-9. They've got speed that kills. They've got one of the best wide receivers in Keenan Allen.
Yep.
So underrated.
Yeah. So underrated.
And if Derwin James can actually stay healthy, they've got a force back there in that secondary. But don't know about him. He's like Bob Sanders, right? He's great when he's healthy.
But I do think this is a good thing for Washington, because at least the Chargers didn't come out and look like crap for 3 games, and Washington thinks that they could come in and walk right over anybody. And so like going into this game, they're going to have that thought in their head that this is a very good team that's capable of blowing the lid off us very, very quickly, and we have to be ready for it. So I do like that about it.
Yeah, I like that. I think that it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Come CBS, y'all gonna be there live, watching it straight. I'll be here on the channel watching it, but I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to finally have something, because I think the can of worms is going to get busted out. Like all this stuff, I honestly believe, and y'all can clip this off and say right now, we will not have any complaints about Scott Turner this year.
Good.
I think I do believe that any valid complaints. I feel like Scott is going to learn this. It was his first full year calling plays last year. He went through 4 different quarterbacks.
One wide receiver. One wide receiver.
Speaking of one wide receiver.
Oh, don't make me.
Yep. So did you get the spit cleaned out of your face after NFL Films put that top 100 video? That is the ultimate slap in the face to that jersey to the right of you.
I got into it with the junkies on Twitter because I was listening to them on the radio, and JP said that Terry McLaurin wasn't elite. And he started listing DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, started going down this whole list. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, that's great. But could you plug, I know D-Hop is another situation. I'm not talking about him, but any of the wide receivers that you would place, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, let's say even Julio Jones, if you want to throw him in there, maybe Odell Beckham is one of your top 10, whatever have you. If they were to come here with 4 different quarterbacks, with only Logan Thomas and Antonio Gibson on your team, could they put up the numbers Terry McLaurin did? No. Nope. And That's why I think it takes a special kind of person to excel in those type of situations. He was a flower growing in a desert, and that takes a very special person because generally wide receivers are prima donnas. They're all about me. Show me everything. That's not Terry. Terry's all about the team. So look, I don't care what you guys say. I don't care. You guys can completely disrespect him. But look, I feel like at home, especially from the Junkies, 1067, we should at least show the respect that Terry deserves because everyone is so scared to call him elite because everyone is so scared of being homers. Like, oh, you're being a homer for Ashburn syndrome, like JP loves to say. Ashburn, that syndrome list is in every single fan base. You're trying to tell us we can't be excited about guys? And the reason is we never want to acknowledge our players are really good until they go to another team. Case in point is Trent Williams. Everyone would love to talk about how Tyrone Smith was better and the guy in Green Bay was better than him. And all of a sudden he goes to San Francisco, up number 1 left tackle in the league. Everyone's talking about. Come on, we don't want to give our guys the flowers when they're here, but once they leave, then it's like, oh man, we had the number 1 guy here. What happened? Well, you didn't give him any respect.
That's
sorry.
No, dude. Hey, bro, that I agree with you 110%. I mean, I literally, I was so mad when I saw that. The fact that they had a nerve to put that out and ask that question, and then Cole Beasley, Corey Davis, great name, not that great of a receiver.
Kyle Jenizik, like the fullback.
Yeah. Juszczyk is up in there.
Juszczyk, yeah.
I was like, are you guys? Are we really like Tyler Lockett? Like Tyler Lockett is on this list, and I'm like, what? Like it just did not make any sense. It was complete disrespect to him. I think he's a top 10 receiver. I think he's reaching elite status. I hope, and I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick, if we don't see Fitztragic, he will help him get to that level because he may hopefully have a consistent guy that can throw to him. I mean, the guy's had like what 8 quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
2 bum ankles he played on last season.
Exactly.
2 bum ankles, bro. And he's still balled out. And they don't want to put him in the top 100. No, it's ridiculous. And our own fan base are scared to call him elite. I don't care. How many wide receivers have you seen come through here and do what Terry McLaurin has?
Not since that type of that all around thing. You'd have to go back to Monk, I think.
Look, I think he's better than the Santana, and I'm sorry to say that.
I love Santana. I think he's better. He's a more
Santana was
receiver.
Santana was never elite. I'm sorry to say that, but he was. Terry McLaurin is freaking elite. He would start any team in the NFL. If Terry McLaurin were to give him the call, say, I will come and play for you on my contract right now. Every single team, all 32 teams, will say we have a starting spot for you. Yeah, every single one. And you're trying to tell me he's not elite? Come on, man.
Oh no. Shout out to my boy Polly. It sounds good until Fitzmagic turns into shit. Hail to the W, Polly. And Polly said, damn, or any list that matters is the win list. Hey, yes, you're right. Hey, we got to wrap it up good. Is there any word on Washington getting a new franchise name? Hey, it's coming. It's coming top of the first quarter of 2022. Yeah. So we will see that pretty soon. And I think Jason also said it's going to be part of the 90th anniversary announcement as well. Ooh, new kits for that, as they would say across the pond. Appreciate you, Chop Shop. T-Ho, how you doing? Let's see here. I think I touched a Spider Monkey. What's up? But yeah, I give him his damn flowers, like you said here, Kyle. I can't be more clear than that on that situation. And we got a few more minutes. If y'all got any questions, please put them in the comments here. We got about
one guy asked earlier, what was your first Washington jersey?
Yeah, I did put that up. What was yours?
Mine, my dad had gone to like a conference and like Washington was affiliated or somehow, but he came back with a LeVar Arrington jersey. I remember that was my first ever. It was white and I loved it.
I loved LeVar Arrington, but he wasn't part of the Players Association for a little bit, so they took his jersey off the market. Then they finally put it back on. Because I remember it's hard. That's why he wasn't in Madden for a few years. My first one that I remember is Terry Allen. Number 21, Terry Allen. I've got a couple of Darryl Green jerseys. Actually, my mom sent me home with the 70th anniversary one that I wore back in middle school.
With the arrow? Yeah, I got that one too. I love that jersey.
I've got it pinned up downstairs in my living room now. So I was just like, I said, I gotta have DG up in here give
I
it.
will say that's a jersey that people should have in their house. It's just like a 21. Every fan should have a Sean Taylor jersey. Everyone should have a 70th anniversary Darryl Green jersey.
Yes, and that was his last year on the team, 20 years. So shout out to Darryl Green, man. Let's see here. We kind of touched on this area. What happens if Hopkins trouble? Who do we turn to? Free agency. Hey, that's it. We just go to the market.
Can I look, man? Terry could do everything else. Can we see if Terry can kick?
You're right. You're right. No, we gotta get Apke. Apke can do that. He's special teamer, so we'll get Troy Apke to do it.
Andy from the UK. Andy was a soccer player, dude. I'm sure he can kick some kicks, like from the movie The Replacements.
Oh Lord,
I'm wiry.
Does he smoke the cigars and everything?
Yeah, he smokes the cigarettes on the field.
Let's see here. Got a question. What cush y'all on smoking Terry better than Santana? Oh, what? Come on. Paulie, come on there. I'm gonna hear that later. I'm gonna hear that next thing. Tress might do a drop back kick. Larry Brown, Terry, Sean Taylor. We got all these guys. Are we going to go after KJ Wright? I'll ask, and I thought about this while everybody said we need to go after KJ Wright. If KJ Wright is such a commodity and people are like, hey, KJ Wright, why hasn't he been picked up yet? That's my question. Like, what's it there? What's there to it? Am I looking too far? Do you think I'm looking too far into it, or do you think where there's smoke, there's fire there?
I do think it's probably by design, to be perfectly honest with you. What did Michael Strahan do the year that the Giants won the Super Bowl? He sat out all training camp because he was a vet, and he said, yeah, I'll pay the fines.
Yeah.
The KJ Wright could easily be saying, dude, I don't want to deal with training camp. I don't want to deal with all that nonsense. And I want to go back to the West Coast where he's going. Pro Football Focus rated him as one of the best pass defending linebackers in the league last year. So obviously he would pay dividends here. He'd be the opposite of John Bostic, veteran that you could plug right in, do really well in the passing game. But look, I just feel like he's going to stay on the West Coast. This is all by design. That he knows where he's going. It's just until that time comes.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come out here to the Burgundy and Gold.
But I will say, if we could possibly find a trade for getting Jordan Hicks from the Arizona Cardinals, that has been floated around all off season because they drafted Zaven Collins. They have what's his face from last season, Isaiah. What's his name? Isaiah Simmons.
Back
there as well. So Jordan Hicks is a very good middle linebacker that could play here, and he's been looking for a trade. We'll see if maybe it's like a pimple, it gets pressed out, and we don't have to send that much to get him.
Yeah. I'll ask you this one last question here because this is fun. I always ask this question now. Washington wins the NFC East if?
Washington will win the NFC East if Chase Young gets 17 sacks. Going against this slew of quarterbacks that we're going to be having to face this season, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, go down the list of all the guys we have to face. If Chase Young is getting 17, that tells you that Montez Sweat's probably getting around that same number. And if we're stifling those quarterbacks, we are in a very, very good position to win some football games. So, yes, I definitely think 17 sacks for Chase Young.
I like that. I like it. 17 sacks. Man, I think it's I always say that it's going to be consistent quarterback play. I think last year was a lot of adrenaline and a lot of emotions that pushed this team forward. I think you got to have competent quarterback play to actually win the NFC East this year. And if that's Ryan Fitzpatrick, and a point that I didn't make, and I was thinking about it, I wrote it down. People always talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't throw to a tight end. Can you name me a tight end he threw to that's not named Mike Gesicki?
Shoot, I have to go back to. My goodness, I'm not sure. I can't even remember his career, to be honest.
He doesn't. He's not really had tight ends. And that's the point I'm making. Is like Logan Thomas is probably the second best tight end he's going to play with this year.
Oh yeah, and they had a very good relationship already.
Yep. So I can't wait to see this. The backup tight end spot is going to be pivotal in the passing game as well. 3 guys, 3 receptions, 18 yards. That's abysmal last year. Jeremy Sprinkle, I know the Cowboys released the future Hall of Famer there. But it is
Hey,
what it is, man.
I just want to say, how
Uh-huh.
cool was it when they started out that Bengals game? How cool was it? The first play, they did a play action to Logan Thomas, and he's going for 25 yards. Like, how many times that happened to us? And like, our offense never does that.
Mm-hmm.
Watching that was like, whoa,
There you go.
that's what this could be like. It's dangerous,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
That's dangerous.
I'm hoping. It's a lot of hope. I think there's a lot of things that have to go right, but I think they're in good hands. And this is part 2 of a 3-year process that was
Yes.
outlined in Ron's press conference when he first got here. So I'm looking forward to that. And they've got great coaching. Like, can we, before we even wrap this up, the coaching, the guys on this squad, you look at Pete Hainer, John Matsko, Chris Harris. And then Sam Mills, the third. I think he's underrated as a coach. And Ron's kept him around for a long time. And then Richard Rodgers. Yeah, Kim Zampese. Yeah. These got Randy Jordan. The guy, people don't realize Randy Jordan, if you need a coach, he's been here forever. Dual threat quarterback, running backs. That's what he specializes in.
Mm-hmm.
And look what we have here. Jared Patterson, dual threat. J.D. McKissick, PPR league MVP. And then we got Antonio Gibson, man. Dude, I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right. And
I think we're going to be all right,
too. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be counting up, though.
I know. I don't want to get too excited, but it's like, I like what's happening.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm cool. I'm cool with it. They're weeding out things. That's why I wasn't upset about this roster cut. These roster
I wasn't
cuts.
either. I was kind of blown just about Jimmy because he's been a guest on our podcast and stuff like that. Just on a personal level, it's kind of blown about it. But you knew this was going to happen. You knew that there was going to be 1 or 2 guys that were really going to pull at you.
Yeah, I think so, man. But hey, shout out to Rick Diaz. What's up, man? Give me a name. What name are you in the corner for?
What name am I in the corner for? I don't really have a favorite, to be honest. I'll don't really care. The only thing I really cared about was just not howling. And that was it, to be perfectly honest with you. I've said this many times. I don't care about a wolf name as long as there's no howling involved. How lame that's going to be. I don't care how many people get pissed off by it. But if I was going to pick one, I don't think it's going to be military themed. I don't think it's going to be an animal or anything like that. It's going to be a symbol of strength. It's going to be a forceful type of name, something that people can get behind, a feeling type of name, like strength, force, something like that.
The Washington Force. I like that.
Ooh, that's a great question, Alexander Wilson.
Yeah. Is this coaching staff better than Shanahan's staff with Kyle McVay and LaFleur?
That's a really tough question.
I'm going to say this, and this is the reason why I'm going to say yes. Because that was the untapped potential. That coaching staff, you look back at it, had a lot of potential, and it's being shown. But right now, established-wise, it's better. If that makes sense. And thank you for the super chat, Alexander. Appreciate you as always, brother. What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. The experience factor of it. You're right. The longevity is there. Ron Rivera, you have Jack Del Rio, who was a head coach himself. Coach Chris Harris, who was getting interviews for a head coaching job in the offseason. So, yeah, their similarities are there. But I think the longevity and experience of this coaching staff is better. I credit to Mike Shanahan for the Super Bowls, obviously, that he got, but overall, I do think it is, and because I have more favoritism towards defense.
Yeah, I always like these folks to say, and I will leave it at this one. They should have fired Jay Gruden and hired Sean McVay. No, they were coming off a playoff appearance. They were 1 game short of making the playoffs last year. That made no sense at that time, y'all.
Yeah, and
I get it.
And people forget about that. The Rams took a huge leap of faith going with Sean McVay.
Yes.
He was the youngest head coach ever hired in the NFL. They knew what they had. Washington could offer him a raise, but if you're Sean McVay, wouldn't you rather have that responsibility, that light to be able to extend your career and show that you can do it if you have that opportunity? Of course. The only thing is the people just don't want to just come to the grips with the fact there's nothing you could do about it. It's a crappy situation. You would have loved to have him stay here, but things are going to happen. I'm good. I'm
They
glad
should have
for him, man.
fired. They should have fired Gruden.
Yeah, they should have. As soon as he went Indian style on the
Yeah.
ground outside that bar, they should have fired him.
Yeah. Well, thanks for Bruce Allen allegedly putting those
Yeah.
videos. Let me stop. But
Good Lord, man.
yeah, that was wild. Hey, but y'all, this has been exciting. This is Warpath Wednesdays. Always, Kyle. I appreciate you, brother, coming
Thank you,
on
brother.
here, and we're gonna have to have you on here again during the season. But yeah, go check out the Burgundy Zone. Y'all should know it already, though. So
yeah, follow you. We're on YouTube. Just search for the Burgundy Zone. I'm sorry, Gunny. I know you didn't like my Santana Moss comment, but look, come talk to you about it on the page, brother. But yeah, we upload every Tuesdays and Thursdays for now. But once after the first game of the season happens, we're going to be uploading on Mondays and Fridays. That way, for better access and previews of the games coming. So expect that later on in September. Corey, you do such a great job, dude. You are Mr. Hollywood. You're Mr. 65K. It keeps bumping up by 10 every time I talk to you.
Stop.
You're big swinging around here, dude.
Dude.
Corey, you are my guy. There's a reason why everyone loves you, my dude. It's because you're a great energy. You do a great job. You produce a great product, dude. There's a reason why everyone loves you, brother.
Hey, appreciate it. And Alexander Wilson, one last one. Thank you again for the super chat, brother. Snyder and RG3 messed up that coaching staff, and that's true. Remember when RG3's dad said that LaFleur wasn't good enough to coach his son?
I do not remember that.
I don't remember that part.
I have to look that up if that's true.
I think they went into that. There was a rumor that they went into Shanahan's office and said they need to change the playbook.
Yeah, well, I knew that, but I didn't know that he said that specifically to LaFleur. That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Did you all talk about Washington need to run the ball 25 times or more a game? Yeah. What's going on here? Yeah, we did mention Kyle did mention that with the 4 tight end sets.
Yeah, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is at his best if he's running off of play action rather than having an all-out air arsenal of an assault, because there he's going to have the mistakes. If you give him the easy throws with the play action, with the linebackers jumping up the line of scrimmage, the easy throwing lanes are there. He's going to be at his best because of his vet experience and comfortability with the offense, given with the weapons that he has on the outside.
That's right. Let's see here. As soon as Deshaun, that's right, y'all. Hassan, what's up, man? I didn't see you right there, so I appreciate you stopping by.
Nipple twist.
Yeah, just get those twists out. But yeah, as always, y'all go check them out. Go check out the Burgundy Zone. We got a lot of things going on. Also, don't forget gold for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to do that big stream on September 28th against Buffalo here. So as always, y'all, I'm Sanchez 405. Make sure you slap a table once in a while. Keep that same energy. We'll outlast the bastards in the NFC East together. And I'm Sanchez 405. Love, peace, and hail. Till the next time. Guess what, y'all? We out.